Are you wanting to scale your business with digital products? I'm Becky Beach, and I've grown $1 million digital product empire that earns me passive income while I sleep, eat, and play. Join me each week as we grow our digital product businesses together. This is the Becky Beach Show. All right, welcome to the Becky Beach Show. I'm Becky Beach, and today's guest is Angela Wills. She's a coach and course creator. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you, Becky. Happy to be here.
Oh, yes. Like I used to be in Angela's membership when I was I was new to like serving business owners. Yeah, what was it called again?
Oh, it had a few names, but I had oh gosh, Laptop Lifestyle University and Laptop Lifestyle Business Club. I just named it a couple of different things over time. But yeah, it was one of those probably that you were in.
Oh yeah, yes, like that was really fun and it was really like helpful. So like I've known Angela a very long time now, and I'm just a big fan of yours. Like you've just done so much. And today we're going to be talking about pivoting because I understand you pivoted your business quite a lot. And I'm sure people listening are thinking, well, like my business isn't working out anymore. What should I do? Should I, go into another direction or pivot? Like, yeah. So like, tell us about yourself, Angela.
Yeah, Becky, I'm a big fan too. I love what you're doing. So I'm just happy to be here. But about me, well, I've been in business since 2002. My son was born in 2002. He just turned 23. And I started my first business when he was 4 months old because I just wanted to be able to have like flexibility and freedom. And that was something that was just so important to me at that time. And I was at the time a chemical lab technician, driving the commute over an hour to work, like rush hour traffic. And I just didn't want to do that once he was born. So I decided to start a business. And at the time, I was selling physical products. But I learned about a lot about putting up a website, about email marketing, copywriting. I learned from some really smart people kind of back in the day. We're talking like 2004, 2005. I joined like a mastermind group with other moms
Mm-hmm.
and just learned a lot about how to sell online. Like not only because my business wasn't about online when I got started, it was soaps. I made handmade soaps that I had learned how to make from scratch, like with like lye and all kinds of like essential oils and different natural ingredients. So I made these soaps and then I had to figure out how to sell them, right? So I went to craft shows, I did home shows, I did home parties, I tried online, I got in stores, like just whatever I could think to do. So I mean, I am an original pivoter in terms of pivoting my business from that to learning how to build things online. And then I was trying to figure out something to sell online. I tried like a soap making newsletter. That didn't
Mm-hmm.
work out so much. So I just kind of like shifted from one thing to the next till I found something that worked. First thing that really worked well was virtual assistants. And not to go too long into my story, I think I'm going way too far back. So then from virtual assistants up till today, I've done all kinds of different things, and that's what we're going to talk about a little bit, I guess, today is pivoting. But I've just kept learning and growing and ended up teaching people how to build businesses online. And that's where I am today,
Oh yeah,
to
yeah,
kind of
that's
sum it
quite a
up.
story. And I remember when I was in your membership, you also had a new baby too. Like, so you also, how many kids do you have?
I have two. I have a son who's 23, yeah, and a daughter. I forgot to mention my daughter. I mention her all the time now. My son is usually the one who doesn't get much mentions because he's older, but I have a daughter who's 11. And yeah, it's been those 23 years of having some young child who depends on me. And that's the
Yes.
only way I know how to how to build a business. Sometimes I used to say I was raising a business while raising a family. That was like kind of a tagline I started to say because it's just something I'm used to doing both at the same time, right?
Oh yeah, yes. I love how you said you were selling soaps, but then you're trying to find like you're like an audience for it online too. So like how did
Mhm.
you get into, serving business owners?
So it went to the initial time where it finally clicked to me to do that was like in that mastermind group I mentioned. I had been like networking with those other moms as I was trying to build my soap business, and I could see them, doing a lot of online business, and I thought to myself that I would like to help them with the skills that I had learned as I built my soap business. So I was at the time, um, I had taken a job at a factory because I
Oh
like the
yeah,
soap
that's
business wasn't
hard.
working out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to a factory. My son was 4 years old, I think, when I quit the factory. I think he was four, somewhere around there. Oh, maybe six or something. He was in kindergarten. So I was like at the factory and they would shut down once a year for this big cleaning. It was like a car parts factory. They'd shut down and I was inside of the ovens where the
Mhm.
car bumpers got painted, like
Oh
scraping gunk,
no. Yeah.
scraping gunk off the ovens. And I was like, I will not be doing this next year. And so in that mastermind group, I saw these moms and I was like, well, I have skills. I could help them with their website. I could help them, set up product photos or, well, I wouldn't take their photos, but like upload their photos or edit their podcasts. They were doing a variety of different things, but I had skills to help them with that from my own business. So I offered VA services and that's where I broke in to starting online business. I became a VA and I did that from 2007 to 2012. And then, just kept continuing to develop skills, working with people, building my own businesses, and till I just kept uh, wanting to create more freedom. And that's where I started making digital products and things like that.
Oh yes, digital products are definitely where it's at because I just love how you don't have to keep any inventory, you don't have to do any shipping. You can like
Hmm.
you just make things and you can make it over and you can just make it once and just sell it over and over and over like infinite amount of time. It's just wonderful. I'm so glad that I also started doing digital products because I was doing drop shipping. I would drop ship women's purses. This was before COVID. I made a lot of money doing that. But then during
Hmm.
COVID, the Chinese factories closed, so I could no longer really drop ship. So I just turned more towards to my digital products. Like I really emphasized, making printables and like getting things in my Shopify store. And now I'm here today. Having a really really good business. Getting doing serving lots of people. So I've been like really happy too with how things have turned out. No, because it was good to pivot because I pivoted from being like a drop shipper into selling digital products, so like that's just crazy how stuff works out like that.
Yeah, and I think you always kind of pull your skills from one thing to the next. Like that's how it's always worked for me. And whenever I'm like working with coaching clients, I'm like, well, what? Because people will often say, like, what should I do? But I think it's good to ask yourself, like, what skills do you have? Like, what can you take into the next thing? What is something you can transition with that will help you do that smoothly?
Oh yes, definitely. So what kind of skills from having the candle business like helped you in your business today?
Oh, there were so many things I learned from that business. Like one of the first things I remember learning, I mean, your community may know Alice Seba.
Oh
She likes
yes,
to
yes, I
sell,
love
yeah, different
Alice.
products.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so Alice, and that was her community. Her and Kelly McCausey. That was an area where I learned a lot of things. And like one of the first things I learned with that soap making business, like I was selling soaps and bath salts and bath bombs, and Alice did a review of my site, like my soap making site. It was called Rainkist. She did like a video and she showed me like instead of saying soap, say relaxing essential oil soap or something like that. Like she was taught me copywriting by going through my site and saying, be more descriptive, like create a feeling around what it is that you're selling and things like that. So I learned copywriting. I learned about creating websites, which I had a little bit of a knowledge in that from college because I had a friend who gave me code of HTML in college and I just kind of played around with it. But like those kinds of skills from that soap business translated into like finding customers in the
Mhm.
early days. Um, I was actually just able to put up a site and people found me on the internet because not very many people were selling handmade essential oil soaps on the internet. So when someone was looking for it, like they found me through the search engines and stuff, and I didn't even do anything to try. Like they were just finding me. But like I learned to, serve customers, customer service. I
Uh,
learned, email marketing, graphics, images, copywriting, like so many tools that I then took into virtual assistants, but into everything I've done. So like they just build on each other, right? Like those skill sets. And that's something I've said when I teach WordPress design. Like I have a course on WordPress, and I say,
Mhm.
like, this is a skill I've been using since 1999. Like it's still useful. So you like learn skills that you can just continually, hopefully continually use, right? And there's always new things, but there's some skills like really last a very long time.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, about the same for me when with my drop shipping because I learned really good customer service because like it could take like 3 months for the purchase to come to the customer, and I had to deal with customers that are really upset that their package was taking so long to come to them, and I kept like so I'll just give you like a bonus. And I'll like actually make these bonus jewelry pieces like bracelets and necklaces, and I'll just ship them that to hopefully tie things over because the Chinese factory was the one shipping out the purses. And so I
Right.
just developed this customer service skill set. And I still use this today. Like if someone has a problem with their product, like, or maybe they haven't gotten it because I deliver bonuses with affiliate products and my VA will do it. And like over a couple of days, my VA had time off. So I wasn't doing it because that's her job. And this one customer was really upset because they didn't get their bonus. And they were really upset about it. So I thought, oh no, like because I said, well, my VA's been off and we don't work weekends, so she's been waiting for a bonus for like 5 days. So I just gave her another bonus, to make up for it, and gave her another bonus, and just to make her happy because that's just what I learned from doing the drop shipping. It was to appease the customers. Like if they're upset about something, that I would make it right.
That it is such a good skill because like it's word of mouth. They tell other people, they go from an upset customer to a happy customer. They'll buy from you again. I just rewarding to know you can help people out. And I mean, it kind of comes down to, a lot of times just being really helpful as much as you can. And that, that's a skill that you can practice. And I think that's something that happens as you grow your business. You get more practice too, right?
Yeah, there's just always something to learn because like for about 25 years I was just doing web developing and designing, like doing user experience design, and over time I just had this skill set that I just didn't feel like I was being challenged anymore because I knew everything there was really to about it. But then, of course, AI came a lot later after I had already quit and everything, because that's a lot to learn now too.
Right.
But I'm just glad that I got into this business because I was very bored, doing that kind of work, like doing the web development. And as I would just sit there and code, not even have to think about what I was doing, and I would just write 90 words per minute just all day. My hands were starting to have trouble. Like I was even getting carpal tunnel. I was in the kitchen and I was holding the glass and it just shattered to the floor because my hands were in such bad shape from all the coding.
Hmm.
Even that skill set translated into my business too, because now like I know how to code Python and other coding languages, and I've been using that with AI with the chat GPT because that's built on Python. So I've been making like GPTs with Python scripting and just custom apps and stuff. Yeah, so it's just really translated from that because anything you've done in the past, you could take that and bring it to your business. Like what were you doing before you said you work at a factory? What else have you done in your corporate life?
Oh, I was so before the factory was kind of a something because it was close.
Mm-hmm.
But before I quit my job, I was in chemical engineering,
Oh,
technology slash
wow.
yeah, it was a so we have college and university here in Canada. So it was a
Mhm.
college diploma that I had. And then well, at first I had worked for an environmental consulting firm. I think that was my first out of college job. And then that was interesting. I was going around helping people drill, like helping the environmental firm who
Mhm.
worked for the government. They were drilling on government-owned houses. They were drilling new wells. So I would go out and tell, people where to drill the well or things like that. So it was an interesting, different thing from what I'm doing now. Another job I had, I was going on top of tanker trucks to sample chemical samples that came into a chemical disposal area. And
Uh-huh.
then my last job was working at the Ministry of the Environment where I was testing water samples. So completely different life from working online and starting a business and doing all that stuff. So I just kind of really, that was my biggest pivot ever, I guess.
Yes, that's quite a doing stuff like that and going to selling digital products and courses. Man,
hmm
that does is a great shift. Yes, what would you say like a biggest challenge you've had when it comes to pivoting and bringing over your other audience from your other position you may have, like your other business?
Yeah. Well, I think that sometimes it works really well, and other times, people aren't interested. So, like, I think the
Mhm.
pivots when they're smaller and adaptable, and when you have like already kind of let your community know that you do sell other things. Like, I think if you sell relevant things that may not necessarily be that related, how can I say this? Like one of the things I shifted to at one point, which was one of my biggest mistakes. So I'll tell you about that in a second. But one of the things I shifted to was this company that sold. They're called Tower Gardens, and they sell. You grow plants in them, and so this shift that I made from teaching people like lifestyle, laptop lifestyle, to saying now I'm selling plants was that we need to have energy, we need to be healthy in order to run our business. So if you can tie things together, that's a way you can pivot. But, that was a big pivot. And, not everybody came with me with that one. And I understood there were other pivots I made that were smaller. So sometimes they just came because it just made so much sense. Like it was a nice, simple thing that what they were like, okay, we're a virtual assistant, but now you're offering courses on things. So like we're still in the business realm, right? Like I was helping
Yeah,
business owners as a virtual assistant, and then I kind of shifted and I had a list. I started building a list when I was a virtual assistant. They stuck with me pretty easily because it was like, okay, now you're doing courses, that still helps us grow our business, right? So that kind of pivot made a lot of sense and it kind of shifted. Another thing I did and I learned over the years was building my list based on values. I'm a mom who works from home, who, freedom is so important to me. So people were following me more, not just for one thing, not just for one product or one type of
mhm,
topic. They were following me because I was talking about what's important to me and sharing how I'm doing that in the world,
mhm.
And so that was more where I could continue to pivot and people would come with me, and but the more drastic the pivot, the less, the less likely people are going to come. But then some people said they stayed, just to kind of see what I was doing. They weren't necessarily interested in it, but and the ones who stuck around when I pivoted back to the old thing I did, because in
Uh-huh.
the last case, I pivoted out of a business, kind of closed it down, tried a new thing, it didn't work out, and I pivoted back. And so I've been 3 years into kind of rebuilding that. And
Mhm.
some people had stuck around through the whole thing. So that was fun. And some people rejoined me again, as I started rebuilding, and that's okay too. So like as long as you're sharing and you're being authentic and you're letting people know what you're doing, like they're just kind of rooting for you. They're not, I think a lot of people think, oh, everybody's going to be so critical of me and they're going to, not like what I did because I changed something.
Yeah.
They just want to see you win. Like most people want you to do well and they want to learn from you if they can. And so that's kind of like how I look at it.
Oh yeah, I can definitely relate because my business I was doing was like the mombeach.com. It's like a blog for moms, and I've been doing
Mhm.
that 10 years. And there's people from that community. They're now over to my other community. I'm still doing that blog too, but a lot of the moms, like just there's many of them that was in my Facebook group, and now they've come over to my other businesses. Like I encourage them to start businesses too. So they
Mhm.
followed me because at first I was just talking about saving money and making money and like occasionally side hustling, it's like a hobby, not really, not really, using it as a business. Like I was mostly focusing on making money, saving money, like side hustles with that blog. But now because I'm now a serious business owner and I do this full time, like a lot of the moms are coming over to my other businesses and I do throw out an occasional email. Like right now, I'm promoting this bundle for printables and stuff, and I promoted that to my Mom Beach list, and there's a lot of people that bought that from the Mom Beach list. So there are still moms interested in making money and saving money, and all, like as well. I mean, making money. I'm sorry, and that goes over to my other two businesses, like the PLR Beach. They're interested in using done for you, PLR, and also the other business, which is like courses and the membership and everything. So you can still bring over your past, people in your business to new businesses.
Absolutely. And they know, and they know you, they get to learn from you, and they trust you. I almost said that, no, like, and trusting, but that said so
Oh yeah,
it's
that's
so
real. Yeah,
so
I know it's
used.
cliche, but it's real.
Yeah, it's definitely real, and it's just an easy way because they're very comfortable with learning from you, right? And they want to know, okay, well, what's Becky doing to make money? If it's is it something I can do? It just makes sense, and
Mhm.
to make sure you share that with people. And if you don't, they might wonder why you haven't shared it, right? They might be
Oh
curious. And
yeah,
so
because if
good.
you're not sharing, I don't even call it selling. I call it sharing. And if you're not sharing, something that you've made that could help other people, that's like unethical of you, and it's selfish. So that's why I kind of use that for selling because a lot of people think, well, I can't sell. I'm like worried about I'm going to be sounding like a cheesy salesperson or, I'm just going to be bugging people. Like, no, if you have something that you made that could really help somebody else and like transform their lives, then you by all means you need to share it with them. You just scream it from the rooftops.
Yeah, you do such a good job of that too. Like, I think it really is. It comes down to intention, and it's easy for people to tell where you're coming from after a while. Like, they can see, and anyone who's worried about selling, you're probably not the person who needs to worry about it.
Yeah.
Right? Because the people who are doing things that are just like unethical or imposter kind of things, those people don't worry about it. If you're worried about it, you're probably fine.
Oh yeah, yes, of course. Like, there's just so much you could do with online businesses. There's so many different niches out there. Like, doesn't matter where you come from, like your past, whatever you've done in the past as a job, you can definitely translate those skills over into starting a business.
Mhm.
So what would you let's talk about complimentary offers. Like, what can you have you have any examples of complimentary offers you've done from one business to the next?
Um, so you mean like separate sites, separate businesses, how I've like kind of complemented
Oh yeah,
those?
yes, because I thought that was like a talking point we were gonna mention
Yeah.
complimentary
Well,
offers.
one time, this is kind of out there too, but one time I started selling lipstick.
Hmm.
And like, women in business, confidence, lipstick, it kind of like it was a fun little side thing, but it did sell as well. So I was selling those for a little while. That's a
Hmm.
little bit like kind of out there. I like to throw in things that are unexpected too. That's just kind of fun for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, other complimentary offers would be like even just now, I think it's really helpful to have like different offers in your own business. So, I've got a membership, I've got courses, I've got coaching, and I know you do a lot of similar things like that. And like I think those are all complementary because not everybody will want everything in every format. So then when you're one of the biggest mistakes I think people make is thinking their list is like, oh, my list only wants courses, or oh, my list is all people over 60. Like there's like I mean maybe you can get some really good stats, and I'm not great at that kind of stuff. Becky, I feel like you might be a lot better at like kind of digging into the stats and finding out the actual numbers of people or data and stuff like that. But if you're just assuming people
Mhm.
are like all one thing in your email list or in your community on Facebook or wherever it is, like there's such a variety. So the more you can offer that is complementary so that people can like buy multiple things, but also you're going to find there's people who will buy one thing and not buy the other. So the more you can like
Mhm.
kind of encompass that without overwhelming yourself. Of course, there's only so many things we can do or create,
Yeah.
but then we can scale with by getting help. And of course, new tools out there right now can help us as well. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think that's kind of some examples. I feel like there's more though. Like I even just recently started doing services. I kind of came back around to that and I'm doing VIP days for services where I'm getting in and I'm like building a website for someone. I just did like a webinar funnel for a client
Oh,
this past week. And, that's very complimentary. And it's something I've only recently, like, I was excited to do because I do, like you were talking about being bored. Like, I've been selling courses since 2008, and it
mhm.
does kind of get very repetitive. And I'm not the kind of person who likes repetitive stuff. Like, I need new challenges. So, getting into working with clients again, I learned Meet Edgar. I started
Mhm.
learning Kajabi, right? Like, so new challenges there, new novelties for me, and getting paid. Like, I'm not charging my clients to learn the software. So, but I kind of like took an hour and a half, got familiar with it, and then use that to work on the VIP day for my clients. So, like, things like that, complimentary and able to help my clients move forward, the ones taking my courses and the clients who hire me to work with them. That's a service that works for both of those kinds of people as well.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like there was a time like I was doing services, like yeah, I come from a web design background and development. So I was making mobile apps for people on Upwork and also like websites for them and as a service, like yeah, for a long quite a long time, like as I was, doing the digital product selling and the blogging. But now I don't think I would go back to services myself
Mhm.
because like I just don't like the constant pressure of having to deliver and at a certain time and having somebody constantly ask me like when is it going to be done, when is it going to be done, because I don't want that to hang over my head. I enjoy my freedom. Like I want to be able to do what I want each day, and I can make a course, like I've been making this one course all week. I can just make the videos and then I know that I'm going to be selling it the rest of my life, unless I need to update, of course, because it probably is a type of course that needs constant updating because it deals with
Yeah.
AI tools. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I just don't think I would go back to services myself because I just didn't really like it. Plus, I'm worried about my hands. If I like coding too much, I think it might hurt them because at the point I think I was gonna have to need hand surgery, but I've done a lot of physical therapy with my hands to get it better.
Yeah. For me, the services are only temporary. It's not like I'm going to do it for a long time, but I wanted to kind of get back in and see, see what's happening out there. And I felt like it was a good way to work with people, but also I only am doing VIP days. So I'm
Oh,
only
okay.
showing up for those 5 hours and we kind of get something knocked out in that time. And then it's like still completely like a freedom based thing because it's like, do I want to do two this month or 10 or none? And that way I kind of am getting myself back into the pulse of what, and that's just for me. I want to like if I continue to do it beyond a year or so, I'll build it into an agency. And that is a very potential possibility for me to then have other VAs as part of an agency and it's only VIP days. So that's kind of just like I like to throw out new things and like try out new things. It's not guaranteed I'm going to stay there. So that's the whole art of the pivot, I guess, is what we're talking about today. So,
Oh, yeah, yeah. So
yes.
like for those that don't know, what is a VIP day? Like I have a little like sense of what it might be, but I've never done one before. So like let us know what it is.
Yeah. So what it's a day where you go in, and so for how I've set it up, I guess is how I can explain it. Ahead of time, someone's going to hire me. They're going to say, "Well, I want my website set up," or something like that, right? So let's say it's a website set up. I'm going to meet with the client ahead of time. I'm going to make sure we got all the logins. I got a good understanding of what they want to do. So that's like maybe an hour. And some clients don't need it at all. They just give me the information, but some clients might need it. And then we go in for the full day, which is like a 5 hour day where I'm in a Zoom room and they're in the Zoom room as well. They don't have to be working on anything, but I want like the point of the day is that I can reach them really quickly. Because if you are doing services as a virtual assistant, this is one of the things that was one of the biggest frustrations for me as a virtual assistant is like you could take 2 weeks to try to get logins if your clients are not organized and stuff. Like, like the login didn't work and now you have to go back and fix it. And so things like that are happening. So, when you're sitting there for 5 hours, you can knock out a lot of stuff. If
Mhm.
because like I'm quick, I'm good at what I do.
Yeah.
The client's right there. I also have ADHD and I can hyper focus, so I can like get a lot done in 5 hours. It's like, instead of hiring someone and having to wait 30 days, having to do all these back and forth emails, like you said, as a service provider, having that like pressure to deliver at a certain point and like none of that happens in this kind of service. I think it's something I could teach to VAs at some point as well. I'm just getting into trying it, but I think it's very effective for both the service provider and the business owner to just knock something out in 5 hours and it's done. Like it was on your list. You want to hire someone to do it, or you want to do it yourself, but you haven't done it yet. So that's kind of like that's how it works. It's working quite well. I like it.
So does a business owner have to be on like a call for 5 hours with you? Like how does it work?
So you could do whatever you want. You basically in the Zoom meeting, and then the client will mute and turn off the camera. I'll mute and turn off the camera. But the point is that the client's available so that if something comes up as I'm working, that I can ask them. So yeah, it is a dedicated like day where that client is decided, okay, this is important enough that I just want to dedicate to be in this Zoom room for 5 hours, available to the client, to the VA, so that we can just get it done. That,
Oh,
yeah, kind of that's how it
oh.
works.
So what happens if it takes you longer than 5 hours?
Um, it's like it's not a promise of a certain thing. It is like a VIP day where we get done whatever we can do. So it's not like, okay, I promise you I'll have this done by the end of the day. So it's up to the client to kind of figure out, okay, make sure you're organized, make sure you have what. So for me, a couple and I've just started doing this. Like this is just like a brand new like
Mhm.
testing venture, right? But the one client I did a webinar setup. So she actually did stay on the day with me for the first time. We did 2 days just this past week. So the first time she stayed on with me. Oh, actually, she also got off because she got off to record a webinar. She already had the webinar ready, she had the slides ready, and she had done it before, but she wanted to record a version that was more evergreen. So she recorded it.
Oh, huh?
And yeah, so she went and recorded it. I was doing all the setup in Kajabi, I got emails set up for her that went out for 3 weeks after the webinar. I got the webinar page set up for her. I got the sign up page set up, had everything connected.
Mhm.
And we did that. We knocked that out in a day. And then there was a few things to finish up, and I finished them up for her. I was like, because I had spent some time kind of messing around in Kajabi because things weren't working as I wanted. So I said, let
Mhm.
me finish that up. It took me like an extra hour afterwards, but I was happy to do that. And so it's been fun so far, kind of like a little thing to, like you said, I'm kind of bored with selling courses after a while, but I think it's
Yeah,
also
very
very exciting to keep.
interesting. Mhm.
Yeah, it's also exciting to keep getting sales of courses and growing that income that way. So I'm not like leaving courses and memberships and all. I'm not leaving that behind, but it's just like kind of like through something else in there.
Yeah, I think I might try that, but only if I'm getting paid what I deserve. Because like a lot of
Mhm.
people will try to lowball you and not pay you like what. Because I did put like a feeler out on this form to see if anyone's interested in like kind of a day. I think yeah, I called it like a VIP time or something like that. But I just did a feeler, and this one person responds to the form, but they like were gonna say, oh, I would only pay like 300 or below because I put like a pay grade, like how much would you pay for this? And they put like $300, and there's no way I would spend a whole day working with somebody and just get $300.
Right. Yeah, no, it needs to be, they need to value it. It needs to be what you expect to get from it. I've seen people doing VIP days for a lot more than what I charge, but I charged 650. Like 650 for a VIP day is like my price, but like there's people charging 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, depending on, and I had a link to like I don't have it right now, but I like you can find people out there doing those kind of days and just kind of compare prices as well.
Oh yes, definitely. Okay, I guess we got off topic a little bit, but I guess it still is because that now you're pivoting to VIP days, and someone out there may want to try it over Zoom or over Voxer. Maybe if you don't want to be on a Zoom call, you could probably do it like Voxer, just be available for the client. They can message you over Voxer or
Yeah.
even WhatsApp or some app tool.
Yeah, you could totally do that like that. I think that it's all around like kind of making sure you're innovating in your business, making
Mhm.
sure you're thinking about how to continue to grow and scale. And I definitely wouldn't go back to services. I never thought I would even again. Like I never thought, oh, I'm going to do services again. I quit services in 2012 and I was like, I don't think I want to do that. But it's just like it just felt right to me to move into that and test it out. And then, I also when I look at what am I doing, I'm definitely looking about into how do I scale this? And to me, that's scalable into an agency. And then I could have a VA team who could help me with my stuff too. So I mean it's potentially beneficial in that way, but that's not the plan. Well, it's possibly the plan. I just kind of want to see how I like it at this point, and where it goes from there.
Oh yes, definitely. Wow, this has been so great. So, Angela, do you happen to have any freebie for us that we could look at, or talk about your website?
Well, I do. I wanted to give your community the Lifestyle Freedom Business course that I have.
Oh yes.
So, yeah, I gave you a link to it if you wanted to share that
Oh
link with your
sure. Yeah. Yes. I'll
community.
put in the show notes. So you can go over to BeckyBeachShow.com and I'll have Angela's freebie available. So what could you let them know your website too, Angela? Your social media?
Yeah, my website is
Mhm.
livinglifestylefreedom.com. So you can go there. Also on Instagram, I think it's Living Lifestyle Freedom. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure it's Living Lifestyle Freedom on Instagram as well. And that's where I'm most active. That's probably the best place to find me on social media. And yeah.
Oh, great. So I'll definitely have all of Angela's website and her social media and her freebie in the show notes. Again, it's at BeckyBeachShow.com. So, do you have any last words for us, Angela, before we end the call today?
Yeah, I think just, we are in a bit of a time where things are changing, where,
Mhm.
it can feel frustrating. Maybe your business isn't working the way you want it. And I think it's just one of the things that I have always done is just kept believing in being able to help other people, like you said, sharing. And I was saying in my membership meeting today that I kind of look at selling as if you're just trading value for value. Like back in the old days, if someone could bake a pie and someone could make a sweater and you just trade, like instead now you one of the people has money. So you're trading value and you're getting money. And if you can continue to do that, and you can, because people always need stuff. And so continue to just be persistent, be determined, keep going, keep out there. That would be kind of my final thoughts. I'm a fan of persistence and determination and just grit and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yes. And look how far you've come. Like, you're such an inspiration to everybody. Wow, I'm just like really blessed to have you on today, Angela, and you share your expertise with my audience. It's just been awesome.
Thank you. It's been great talking with you. I'm just so happy to have been here, and I'm still here, but happy to be here. And
Uh-huh.
thank you for having me on.
Okay, well, bye, everybody. Thanks so much for listening to the Becky Beach Show. Please check out the show notes at BeckyBeachShow.com and my membership, BusinessBeachClub.com, to start and scale your own digital product business. Have a great day. See you next time on the Becky Beach Show.